Hello everybody, welcome to JustUpright. My name is Doc Jean Ruder. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I am your foreign educated physical therapist guide to US application. I hope you guys are doing great. So what we're going to talk about today is one of the most common questions I get from applicants, for foreign educated applicants. So that question is, what is the easiest state to apply? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about, and it's coming up. Talk about why it is easy to apply to New York. Okay, so New York does not require the following items below listed before you can take the NPTE. Okay, so let's discuss this and then I'll explain some things later for you not to have any doubts or confusion about it. Okay, so New York does not require you to have social security number before you can take the NPTE. So unlike California, Nevada, Indiana, you cannot apply for a PT license in those states without social security number. You cannot even use your AIN or alternate identification number, okay, to apply in those states. They really require you to have social security number. Okay, so there are states like that. So New York is not one of them, so you don't need social security number to take the NPTE. New York does not require you to pass TOEFL before you can take the NPTE. But just like I said with my other videos, if you are still in your own country without a working or immigrant visa, you will need a type 1 review for immigration or visa screen certificate from ICD. The healthcare worker certificate requires you to pass TOEFL. Okay, so even if you pass your New York license, in New York, but you don't have a working or immigrant visa, so later on you still need to pass TOEFL so that your employer can file a working or immigrant visa for you. Okay, New York doesn't have jurisprudence examination. Okay, they don't require criminal background check or fingerprinting. And New York doesn't have traineeship. It's like an internship, like California has internship if you're starting out there, or Virginia also have internship, and other states have internship program in which you will be supervised by a licensed therapist, okay, for a certain number of months before you can be on your own. So these are the reasons why a lot of people are applying to New York, because this is the easiest state. Okay, it's easy, the requirements are simple. Okay, you pay the fee, you submit the requirements, you undergo the credentialing process. Okay, you can use FCCPT New York, okay, or the CGFNS New York. Okay, so and then after credentialing, if you're successful, a lot of people are saying they don't have deficiencies usually if they go to New York and apply for New York. Okay, so they can easily get their eligibility letter to register to FSBPT to take the NPTE. Okay, but you have to know that after you got licensed in New York, there are still a lot of requirements that you have to complete if you haven't done so for immigration purposes. I'll explain it. So I made another video, guys, about this. You know, it says I have a New York license, now what? Okay, so it's good when you have the New York license and you find an employer in New York. Okay, so if you cannot find employer in New York and then you have to go to another state because you found an employer in another state, you have to remember that that state will not accept the credentialing that you did for New York, because the credentialing that you did for New York, it is called FCCPT New York, okay, or CGFNS New York, and that is exclusive for New York only. So the downside of that, you don't need to take the examination anymore if you're going to another state, okay? So you have to pay the fee, you have to submit all the requirements needed by the state for endorsement of your license or reciprocity, but together with that, you have to undergo another credentialing program or service that is required by that state, okay? So the good thing about it is, if you use FCCPT, then FCCPT will keep your records for life, okay? And they will use the same documents to do the credentialing for that state, okay? The bad side for other state is that they might have additional requirements for credits, okay, for credentialing purposes. So you might have deficiency, okay? So that's one thing you have to remember. If you're going to transfer your license from New York to another state, you have to go through another credentialing process, so another fee, okay? The next thing is, again, if you do not have a working or immigrant visa and you're still in your own country, you need to have the healthcare worker certificate. So for FCCPT, that's type 1 review for immigration. Okay, for CGFNS, ICD, that is visa screen certificate. Okay, so they are both the same purpose, is healthcare worker certificate. And healthcare worker certificate is required by the U.S. immigration, okay, in order for your employer to petition you with a working or immigrant visa. So suppose you apply to New York and you didn't have deficiencies, but now you're applying for a healthcare worker certificate, okay? And healthcare worker certificate, the requirement is coursework tool number 6. So what does it mean? The coursework tool number 6 requires you to have a master's degree or equivalent, or master's degree in subjects or equivalent, or higher, okay? So simply means that even though in New York you didn't have deficiency when you applied to the state of New York, but if you're going to apply for a healthcare worker certificate, depending on what year you graduated, most of the time you will have deficiencies, and you have to take those deficient subjects and then apply for re-evaluation again, okay, after you're done with your deficient subjects, okay? So that is the catch for that, okay? So it doesn't mean you have a license in New York that you will get away from not taking the healthcare worker certificate requirement, okay? You will not need the healthcare worker certificate if you already are an American citizen, or you have an immigrant visa, or you have an active working visa. You do not need the healthcare worker certificate, okay? But if you're still in your own country, you will need the healthcare worker certificate. So meaning you have to pass the TOEFL, you have to get the deficient subjects, okay? And you have to fulfill all the requirements under the healthcare worker certificate, okay? All right, so guys, I hope that is valuable information. I hope you learned something, and I hope I can save you time and save you from misery from doing the wrong thing, okay? So that's hard if you do not know what you're doing if you're applying here to the US as physical therapist. I always say it's brutal, it's bloody. So if you need help, I have a master class. You can access it anywhere you are in the world. The link is down below. It's called USPT Turbocharge. Okay, so that will speed up the process of your application by empowering you with the knowledge of the do's and the don'ts, the hows and the whys, and you know, all the things that you need to learn on how to apply as physical therapists here in the US. Okay, so all my other master classes are down below. The links are down below for physical therapy evaluation, the USPT dynamic documentation, and the treatment approach and strategies under the USPT golden treatment approach and strategies. Okay, so all the links are down below, guys. So announcement, I'm going to have a master class November 26th at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So the link will be down below for registration. So if you watch this before then, Please register. I hope to see you at the masterclass. It's going to be USPT done notes. So we're going to discuss daily notes, progress notes, discharge summaries, updated plan of care recertification, the notes that we do here as physical therapists day in, day out at work, okay? So we're going to discuss that, and a lot of valuable information, the principles of documentation, that will help you to have a solid foundation, so when you get here, you're ready to conquer the therapy world here as a physical therapist, okay? So if you watch this after November 26, 2022, it's gonna be available online, okay? And I usually post on social media platform about the links for master classes, or you can go to JustUprightTherapy.com. I have all the links there for my masterclass programs available online. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Until the next video, stay blessed.